So I was listening to the Trash to Cash podcast today, and again, they referenced the Triple Thrift podcast. And I just felt bad for the people listening because nobody knows who the Triple Thrift podcast is anymore because we stopped making podcast episodes like 2 years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago. It's been a while. So welcome back. We're back. One night only, exclusive content for you guys. We're also going to post this video on the Harry Tornado channel instead of the Triple Thrift podcast channel because I don't even think that channel is monetized anymore. So if you guys are Harry Tornado fans, obviously my name is Josh. Right here, this handsome guy is my friend Joey Bada Bing 22. And down here, this equally handsome guy is Drew, also known as Profit Monsters. So when we started this podcast, it was just three friends who happen to be resellers and happen to be YouTubers getting together to talk about reselling and YouTube stuff. And occasionally it would get off track. Occasionally Drew would talk too much and people would bore themselves to sleep. Occasionally Joey would never say anything because he doesn't want to interrupt anybody. So, and then it turned into me just trying to get Joey to talk more and Drew to talk less. And then Drew just kept having audio and visual issues. So that's why the podcast stopped. But again, the Trash to Cash podcast keeps talking about us. So I figured we'd give him at least one more episode to keep the juices flowing. And we'll do another episode next year. It'll be an annual episode. I think we can handle that.
Well, we can't let them talk smack anymore. We gotta record. This is it. This is the beginning. The new beginning.
There's 33 episodes on Triple Thrift Podcast YouTube channel. So this will be episode 34. So we're only about 300 episodes behind Trash to Cash.
They're on 97. I think we can catch up with them. We'll just do like 10 episodes a day and we'll be there in 60 days. No, that's one episode a day. I don't know. 10 episodes a day, we'll be there in 6 days.
We can pull one of those next week social media things that's like, if this video gets 100,000 likes in the next 24 hours, Triple Thrift Podcast will come back with daily or weekly podcasts.
I'm actually really curious how this video is going to do because, again, we're posting it on the Harry Tornado channel. And I think some people are going to be like, what the heck is this? I'm not interested. And other people are like, this is a change of pace. Let me at least check it out. So for those people that are still watching, thank you so much. Drew, tell people who you are just in case they don't know who you are.
So yeah, my name is Drew. I go by Profit Monsters on Instagram and YouTube. And it's good timing because I actually just put out my first YouTube video since like January on Monday. So when Josh said you want to record a podcast, I was like super stoked because I was saying, well, maybe he saw that I recorded a YouTube video and was like, oh, Drew's back on social media. So
it had nothing to do with that. It was totally random.
But yeah, so I make some reselling YouTube content. I'm a full-time reseller as well as I have my real estate license. So I'm a real estate agent as well. And I am married to my beautiful wife, Danny, and we have two beautiful children, Asher and Zeke. And so they're my world. And
are you actually a real estate agent though? Because I've seen you sell like 2 houses, and I've known you for like 5 years.
Wow, that hurts. I'm pretty part-time. It's mostly for friends and family. I don't like actively market myself and spend money in marketing dollars. But anytime a friend or family, gives me a referral, I get those. So I probably have 3 to 4 deals a year, like 1 a quarter. Usually
just enough to keep the juices flowing, just like our podcast.
Yeah.
Just enough to keep it going.
It makes it worth it for sure. I mean, like I have a deal that's closing in October for a client that's buying a piece of property, and I'll get like a $9,000 check from it. So, I mean, it's nice to have those coming in,
That's probably more money than Joey's made all year selling women's leggings. Joey, tell everybody who you are and what you sell.
What is going on, guys? What is going on? My name is Joey, also known as Joey Bada Bing 22. Yeah, man, I am a reseller based out of Stuart, Florida. And I basically go to the bins every morning, come home, take pictures of about 20 to 30 items that I got that day. Kind of like Hustling Hooks. He's been putting that out on his story that he just goes to the bins now every single day, brings it home. Brings home those Sheen Bolos, baby. But yeah, I'm a reseller. I've been doing this full time for about 2 years and a couple months, and I love what I do, man. I would never change what I do. I would love to advance the business in some type of way. I feel like I've conquered, the daily reseller, going to the thrift store, bringing it home, taking pictures, listing, and then shipping it because obviously it sells. But But yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do full time. And
I didn't know you went to the bins every day. That's interesting.
it's not every day. Monday, I try to do it Monday through Friday. That's basically like my schedule. Just go to the bins, come straight home, take pictures. Sometimes I'll stop at like a couple Goodwills or thrift stores, Salvation Army. There's this one like mom and pop thrift shop. It's done really well for me the last couple weeks. So I've been hitting that up. So yeah, I've been getting the steelies out there.
Cool.
Have you thought about doing like what Flip the World is doing and like either going live from the bins or just bringing it home and just selling it all straight on Whatnot?
So the thing with me is I've really thought about doing that, but my current bins that I'm going to now is my new one. The one that I was at like my whole entire lifetime of being a reseller closed down permanently on June 1st. And I freaked out. I was like devastated. I'm like, what am I going to do? It was 30 minutes north of me and they shut down. And I was like stuck in a rut for like a couple days, almost a week. And I was like, what do I do? Like, I have thrift stores, like, that's great, but I just love the bins, I'm like thinking about where another bins is. And I'm like, well, there's one 30 minutes south, but the traffic is just ridiculous in West Palm Beach. You got the airport, you got people just driving everywhere, going to work. And it's a lot more traffic now, but I really do like going down there because you'll find some good stuff at any bins, really.
You got to go early in the morning and bring your tent, camp out, make some waffles for everybody. That's how you build relationships. What I've learned in going to the bins, it's all about building relationships. Like there's a store manager at our bins that I don't think she doesn't like us, but I don't think she likes us either. And so I know to stay out of her way. I'll just nod as we walk in and I won't say anything else to her. There's other people that are super nice and I'm like friendly with them and whatever. So you got to do what you can to build those relationships. All right, boys. Triple Thrift Podcast, episode 34. Is that what you said it was?
Are we 34. Done already?
8 minutes in.
Well, everybody have a good night. See ya.
I was trying to think of what all has happened in our lives that we could discuss. I think Joey, like you guys know, if you're watching this on Harry 20, we sell on Whatnot now. And Joey was actually the first person that I saw selling on Whatnot. And he looked like he was having a great time. And I was like, yeah, that looks fun. And you're selling, loose action figures for like $7 a piece. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like that's like eBay prices, Yeah. So Joey's how's Whatnot going for you nowadays, Joey?
I've slowed down on it, but since Flipcon, shout out Flipcon 2023. But it's really grind my gears a little bit to get back into it. I've been doing it every Monday at 4:00. But all I do is sell like t-shirts. I have like more action figures. I do Lego, like little Lego mini figures. Really like t-shirts. I love graphic t-shirts. So I'll go on there and just do modern, vintage, and just go live. And if I sell $5 or I sell $300 or $1,000, I mean, I've never done 1,000, but it's just making sales, making connections, and people always come back. I really appreciate the people that come buy stuff.
That's awesome. And Drew, I saw you did a show recently, like with like Disney stuff or something.
Yeah, I actually haven't done a Whatnot stream since Flipcon. And I think like, as we're recording this would be Wednesday. Flipcon's been a week and a half now. So,
I think 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 weeks. 2 weeks since it started. It was August 9th. So whenever that is.
Right. So, when I got back from Flipcon, I got sick and I'm still kind of recovering from it. But, like we got back on a Saturday night. So I woke up Sunday morning and then like I was fine. Then Monday was pretty much fine, getting back into the swing of things. And then Tuesday, I just like got hit. And that was last Tuesday up until basically now. Like I've just been kind of recovering, doing basic listings to get by, not a lot of thrifting and all that kind of stuff. So I haven't been able to go live on Whatnot since Flipcon, which has been kind of disappointing for me. But I just didn't want to be like sick and not, myself. So I've been holding off, but I've got some inventory. I love Whatnot, though. I definitely think it's a game changer for resellers. We actually have talked about this on the podcast like over a year ago, but it's definitely a big part of reselling now, and a lot of people are changing over to it, and a lot of people are sourcing on Whatnot. A lot of people are how they want to support their favorite YouTube YouTubers, you know, Harry Tornado,
so
Paul Cantu.
In the Triple Thrift podcast, not Triple Thrift, in the Trash to Cash podcast today, they kind of brought up an interesting point about what types of items sell. And it was like items, I think Kevin's one that said it, like items that invoke emotion. Like when somebody sees it, it's like either nostalgia or, oh, that's interesting, or that's cool, or I used to have one of those, or something like that. Whereas if you just show an item that has value, like it just doesn't sell. Like today we did a show and we had a big mixture of everything, but one of them was a pair of Timberland Pro, like men's size 13 lager boots. And even in that condition, like that's $50 to $70 on eBay all day long. They sold for $5. It was our lowest selling item. It was our most valuable item in that show in terms of eBay value. And it was our lowest selling item in that show of everything else. Like we had like a Transformers little plush, like this tall, and it sold for like $7. So whatnot is not even about value. It's a mixture of like social media, like people wanting to be entertained and you being like an interesting seller, and also like providing cool items for them to bid on. Cause like, you know, whatever, you just give people cool little plush and they'll buy them if it makes them feel happy, you know? So I really liked that point Kevin brought up. I think Dave said some other things too, but Dave is all over the place.
Yeah. My shows are a little more curated. My shows are a little more curated specifically like towards vintage t-shirts and clothing in general. So like, I don't have these, like for you, Josh and Dave and Kevin, Paul, Philly Flipper, like a lot of these guys, they kind of have like, you know, a smorgasbord of different things, like just stuff I've thrifted, stuff I've garage sailed, and, you know, plush, toys, you know, roller skates, football, you know, a jersey here, whatever. And for me,
why don't you do that?
I did it once before I moved into my new house, and I did it in the garage sale category, and I had like puzzles, plush, vintage, like NBA basketball pencils, Pokemon cards, like all sorts of stuff. And it was like my worst performing stream I had ever done. I mean, I was literally selling stuff that was like brand new for $1. Like nobody was bidding on it. One person would get it for $1, and I lost a lot of money on that stream.
Just trying to see. I think you should try it again. I think you should try something different. Like, just do it, because it's a whole new category. Because you're coming to like new people. Like new people always come to my streams, and it always says like whatnots. First time purchase, and I do like a big thing. I jump up and down. I'm like, let's go, first time purchaser. And it makes them feel good. And you could build clientele just from that, and then they'll come, and buy some vintage shirts off of you because that's what you mainly do. So maybe one time just switch it up a little bit.
It's the opposite for us. Anytime we've tried to do like a specific show, like women's clothes or I don't know, whatever, vintage t-shirts, like it just tanks. Like we lose money or whatever. But like today I think our show was in the storage unit category, and I didn't even list things in the show. We just like pulled things one by one. And it actually works well for us because people stay. Because if you pre-list everything in the show, people will look at what you have. And if you don't have anything they're interested in, they'll leave. But when you just say, hey, I've got 6 more IKEA bags of stuff down here, don't go anywhere, we're going through it. For us, at least, it keeps people's attention. It adds to the whole like mystery aspect of it,
See, like
if you go on a show and I don't know.
Go ahead.
The way I do it is I put all the measurements there, like it's all ready for me. Because like when I do the clothing, people want exact measurements, so I just have it like ready. Or, maybe next time I could just have like that on a set piece of paper and like just do one by one and just keep it pushing, I guess. I mean, maybe I'll try something different.
Yeah, I definitely think it's worth a try. I think that, this is where, like Josh's social media kind of plays a big factor is like,
there we go. Social media, blah, blah.
Hey, it's true though. Like in those kinds of cases, when you've got 300 or 400 people watching, if you have 20 people leave, you still have 300 people watching. I usually have 25 people in a stream. So if 20 people leave and I'm like holding up this FZ150, for the next bid or something. I think a lot of people, for you, Josh and Kevin and Dave and these guys, even though that like some of the stuff is nostalgic and cool, they also are buying because they just want to support you because it's, like all the plush. You look at Kevin's plush, Dave's plush, your plush, they always sell out. It's not
Dave does have bad plush though. Dave has the worst plush on Whatnot.
The Death Pile Piggy.
No, those are cool. We have Mos Plush now, which is basically a direct ripoff of Dave's MC Piggy, but I got Dave's permission. He gave me a supplier and everything. And somebody commented on their podcast today and was like, it was so weird that Harry Tornado got the Mos Plush. I'm like, Dave doesn't own the copyright on
Right.
stuffed animals with T-shirts. Like,
the problem is you didn't put Mos's name on the shirt, so people still don't know how to spell it.
They don't know how to spell Mose. It's M-O-S-E, just in case you're wondering. M-O-S-E. All right, enough about Whatnot, because people are going to think this is just a big spiel for Whatnot. Definitely follow us on Whatnot. There's a referral code down below. You can sign up, get $15 off your first purchase, and you can use that $15 to get a free Mos Plush. How about that? All you got to do is pay for shipping. All right, no more Whatnot unless we come back to it naturally. Drew, you moved into a new house, maybe since last time, and you're a landlord. You're renting out your old house. As someone who's also renting out our old house, have you had any issues as a landlord yet?
The only two things that we've dealt with is probably like a month into renting. I had to replace the garbage disposal in the sink, which costs like $140 or something. And I went over there and did it myself. So, and I'm not a very handy person. Like I could never do a house.
You are. Yeah, you are.
That's
bro.
Pretty easy repair. You can handle that one.
Yeah. So I did that, and then
how easy most repairs are. Like really, it's just most of it is like having the right tool, and then like watching a YouTube video. Like if you got the tool and you got YouTube, you can do 99% of stuff around the house.
For real. Like Destiny has like her key fob, and I had to open it, and it told like it's one of those keys where you press the button and then actual key comes out because it's like a push to start. So it told you to like put it in and twist. Well, it wasn't working, and it was like a thin, like I don't know how to describe it. It was like this thin, but I got like a flathead screwdriver and I just twisted it, popped it open, and put in the new battery. So like, I looked up a YouTube video. You can look up anything on YouTube. It's crazy, just the littlest things like a key fob, like, and his name was Key Fob Guy on YouTube. It's crazy.
One of my most engaging YouTube videos is an Evergreen video I made a while back on how to open up a Nintendo 64 if you don't have the actual official tool, because on the Nintendo 64s and the Nintendo GameCubes and the Super Nintendos, there's like a weird screw on it. It's not like
it's like a five-star thingy head. I've got one somewhere.
It's like a hex head. And I didn't have the tool for it, so I looked it up on YouTube and I found a really crummy video of a guy who took I can't find anything, but like a pen like this, and they took the pen out, the ink, and they lit it on fire and put the pen into the bolt and let it harden to shape the form of the bolt and make a screwdriver. And it worked on my Nintendo 64. So I made a video for the reselling community to do it. But mine was a lot clearer than the last guys who did it, because he's like holding his phone and like shaking as he's doing it. So I made like a pretty good video, and I always get comments that are like, "Thank you so much, you're a lifesaver. I can't believe it fixed my Nintendo." Then you get the other people that are like, "Just order the screwdriver on Amazon. It's $3." But
free shipping.
At the time, I was trying to list it on eBay, and I didn't want to wait 2 days for my Amazon screwdriver.
I feel like hot glue would do better though. Like you just melt hot glue. Like ink would be like there'd be ink all over it, right?
No, but you take the ink out of the pen and you just use the plastic case.
How do you take the ink out of the pen?
You open the pen like this, and you just take this part out, and then this part you melt. But I did it with a mechanical pencil.
I thought you melted the ink of the pen.
No. Just the plastic case. I did it with a mechanical pencil because it's like already like an octagon shape. You melt that, and then you just press it in there, and you let it form the shape of.
So do you need like 5 pens to do that, or do you just keep remelting it?
No, I went through probably about 5 or 6 pens. 5 or 6 pens. No.
So the value of those pens is like maybe 25 cents a piece. So you used $1.50 in pens to avoid the $3 screwdriver.
Yeah, exactly. It was just more.
It worked though. It saved you time. It's time.
I was impatient, but to the point is I always get comments on that video that are like, "Thank you so much for making this. My Nintendo's fixed, or my GameCube." Because like to open the laser disc on the GameCube, you got to do that to get to the laser disc to clean it. On the Wii, it's a lot easier. You just whatever. So it was a pretty cool video, and I don't make a lot of Evergreen videos, so it's always fun to go back and like read comments on that.
That's where the money is. If you look at like College Picker,
Yep.
When he was, if you guys don't know College Picker on YouTube, he used to make reselling videos, but then he switched a couple years ago to start making evergreen content, which is content that will keep getting views because it solves a common issue. So he started making YouTube videos about like how to change the belt on this particular Dyson vacuum, or how to test this printer, how to connect the Rollo printer to Bluetooth or whatever, like literally hundreds and hundreds of videos about all sorts of different things that kept getting views. And now he's still, I don't even think he's made a video in probably a year, but he's still making between $3,000 and $4,000 a month from that YouTube channel, because all those videos that he made keep getting views. So it's kind of like passive income. Unfortunately, the videos that I'm making nowadays are not evergreen, so they're not going to keep making money forever. But
the only evergreen video that I have is on TikTok, and I was playing a game with Destiny one day, and we were playing Mancala, and I was like, how to play Mancala, and then like I went through like the steps of doing it, and it still gets videos, comments, likes. Like, it's cool. It has like almost 200,000 views. It's cool.
Oh wow.
Literally today I was on YouTube, and your video, Josh, from like 3 years ago, that was like top 30 items to sell on eBay for a profit, that got suggested on my feed, and it's got like 400K views. And I literally screenshotted it, and I was going to send it to you. I was like, why am I being suggested this old hairy tornado video? But it is an evergreen
that you probably
video.
Already watched.
Yeah, it's an evergreen video because it's showing people stuff that's profitable. Maybe not now because it was from 4 years ago, but it could be.
That's the whole like tricky thing with YouTube. Like, as you grow, you have to get into more of the titles that like intrigue the viewer. Like, you'll never guess what I found at this garage sale today. That intrigues the viewer now, but that's not something people are going to be like searching for or like popping up 3 years from now, you know. But a video called like, 50 things you can sell on eBay for $100 or more, that'll probably get views for the next 5 years or more, you know. Like, like some things fall out of demand, so it may not be totally accurate moving forward, but that's the type of video that gets views. Dude, YouTube is just tricky. So you guys quit YouTube until recently, right?
I never quit. I just kind of lost the motivation for it because I was chasing, the monetization side of like hoping to help, make extra money. And it really wasn't doing that for me. And I was putting a lot of effort into it. And then I did Vlogmas in December last year, where you make a video a day in the entire month of December. And I just got burnt out. I saw Rachel Strickland was doing it. Becky Park was doing it. And I was like, there's not really any guys doing Vlogmas. So I was like, I'm going to be that idiot that does it and makes a video a day, when I barely make a video a week. And so I did it. I got a little burnt out. And then I just, got really heavy into doing some big bulk buyouts. This year I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bulk buyouts since the beginning of the year. And they've just really taken up a lot of my time, where I was like, I could record content for all of these, but I'd never get all these listings up. And so I focused on the listings and making the money, because for me, the YouTube side, like, I enjoy making content, but I struggle with the editing. And so the monetization side was not worth it for me. But, I just want to make videos when I enjoy making them and not have to feel like I have to do it to chase money. So I made one on Monday. I just did a what sold video, like a pull, pack, and ship orders with me. And it wasn't anything special, but it kind of just got me back into the flow of doing it. And I enjoyed it. So I'm making short form content on TikTok and Instagram. Flipcon really motivated me, with Wyatt, Rewilded Reselling, Carrie, American Arbitrage, and Art of Resell. Those 3 guys, their breakout session with short form content really pushed me, or motivated me to want to make more. So I'm hoping to do a lot of that this year.
Yeah. I mean, Joey, you're doing that. Like, I don't think you've made a long form YouTube video in a while, but you recently started a whole new path on shorts, right?
Yeah. So
is it shorts or Instagram?
It's all of it, like Facebook, YouTube, all of that. I really think I talked with Carrie, American Arbitrage, and he was saying that I should just make a whole new like let's say bless you, a whole new like TikTok or something like that, and then just start off with just content and just push it out. So we talked about that. So I might actually do that and just keep my regular Joey Bada Bing channel. But it was just something like, I was like, I just want to make content. I love doing this, and I haven't done it. I just, me and Drew were actually talking about that. And I just, I've been feeling a little not a little. I guess this whole entire time I was doing YouTube and everything, and just being a little lazy. I'm just gonna be truthful about it. Just being lazy, and like Drew said with Flipcon, it really motivated me to push out some content. I actually filmed a YouTube video before I went to Flipcon, just like a thrifting video. Found some really good items. I was at the bins and it wasn't a good day, and I ran to this Goodwill and I scooped a lot of good items over there. So I just have to edit it, and once it goes out, like when you film it, like you feel good, and then the editing part is fun too. I really enjoy it, but it's like when you put it out and then you're watching it and it's like, wow, I did that, and it's just like it's a good feeling, So
yeah,
I just gotta you look at the numbers, and like especially like on TikTok, I used to get thousands and thousands of views on TikTok, and then it like just stops, like it just goes like 250 views, and then it's just like totally different now. But yeah, I want to make some more content. Flipcon really helped out with that.
I'm so honored. If you guys don't know, Flipcon was an in-person reseller networking event that Haley and I hosted this year. These two beautiful gentlemen were in attendance, and I'm so glad to hear that you guys learned something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an awesome event, and I mean the kudos to you and Haley, for the hard work that you guys did. And I think that every YouTuber reseller that made a video after Flipcon literally talked about Flipcon, and only everybody had nice things to say, and everybody really enjoyed it. And the networking, and all that kind of stuff is obviously priceless, but if you actually go with the intentions of learning something and not just saying like, oh, I already know all there is to know about reselling. Like, it's not just eBay. Like, Side Hustle Network, for example. I mean, they're not really eBay sellers, but, even they...
Actually, they do. They do sell on eBay, because I was like, you guys don't even sell on eBay. He's like, oh, yeah, we do. I mean, I think it's a pretty small eBay store. But
Right. But I mean, primarily they have like an Amazon warehousing business and stuff like that. But, even him, Chaz talking about like health and fitness and stuff like that, that really like gave me a little bit of insight to, I can't just be, sitting in my desk listing all day and then drinking sodas and eating Twinkies while I'm listing,
Snowballs.
So yeah, snowballs. But so it was really good. And there were a lot of things there that, aside from, there wasn't even a lot of like just specific eBay talk. It was actually really cool. You had like debt-free talking, talking about getting out of debt.
There's actually almost nothing about eBay.
Yeah. So it was really good. And, some really great connections were made for me. And
so, I mean, I think we did have a couple of people say like, oh, I wish there was more talk about reselling. But I think I said this in the List Perfectly podcast I did before the event. It's like, it's really hard to come up with new information that people haven't heard before. Like, reselling isn't that complicated. You just figure out how to buy stuff that people want, figure out how to buy it, for under market value, and then bring it to market and sell it, and there's various different ways that people do that. And like Kevin's speech that he did about how like the way you resell is perfect for you, so like, we're going to get up here and share different things that we know, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should do that. That's just what works for us. So it's just tough to like putting together an event. I'm like, do I really want somebody to talk about the best way to sell on eBay? Because what is that? What is the best way to sell on eBay? My opinion of that
you have to be Tim Osborne to thrift.
Well, I was thinking about Tim. I was like, I guess financially speaking, I don't know anybody who's doing better than Tim financially without employees. Like, if you guys don't know, Tim Osborne to thrift, single person operation, no employees, works out of an apartment complex. And I think he currently has like $100,000 90-day total, gets all of his stuff at thrift stores and different like yard sales and stuff. I think he's in Idaho, but just really like a killer, like average selling price and all this stuff. And obviously that's I've never seen somebody look at Tim's operation and say, that's not how you resell. Like, obviously he's doing really well, but when I see that, I'm like, I just see all these like big printers and fax machines and ellipticals and all this big stuff he's selling. I'm like, it's just not worth it, man. I'd rather sell plush and t-shirts.
The funny thing about Tim is that he always admits that like 75% of the stuff he sells, he doesn't even know what it is or what it does. He just picks something off a shelf and he's like, Yucatan ESP 470. Oh, these are selling on eBay for $2,000 and it's $8 at my local thrift store. So yeah, I'll pick this up. And then he'll share the sale and he'll go, I don't know what this does, but I just sold it for $2,000. So
Nuts.
Yeah, shout out Tim.
I pick up stuff like that all the time that I don't know what it does, but it's never worth anything. Like, oh,
and then you find sealed Neopets cards at the bins.
Yeah, that was a big find. If you guys don't know, if you haven't watched our video yet, hey, we found a sealed booster box of Neopet trading cards from 2004. They haven't been purchased yet. I did have somebody we listed them for $1,500, so we paid like 65 cents for them. There's like 6 sold in the last year. There's an empty box that actually sold for $150, but the highest sold comp new sealed in the original plastic wrap was $1,450, and we have the only one available right now. So I was like, I'll list it for $1,500 and just see what happens. I did have a guy message me on eBay a couple days ago and said if it was still available by Friday, he would buy it. He just has to wait until he gets paid. We can talk about his decision to place his financial responsibilities in different orders, to not have no money, and then right when you get money, you spend it on Neopet trading cards. I guess that's his own personal decision, but hopefully his financial irresponsibilities continue and he purchases
that one's crazy.
Like another thing, like saying something like that, like I have this card right here. It's a Moran card, and there's some iconic people in this. There's two. There's two rappers. Right. There's 2 rappers over here that are actually passed away. And then these are the parents from The Blind Side. And this card, like 2 months ago, was going for like $9. They're selling now for like $75 to $80 all day. So I pulled out like a bunch of my cards that I have, and I listed 5 of them, and they all sold like one after another. Like $80, $80, $80, $80. I sold 5 so far. And I was like, these cards were just sitting in a box. And I just remember this card, and I just pulled it out and I listed it, and then they sold. But I kept a couple for myself.
What you're saying is, when we're sourcing, to just put everything in a box and leave it there until something happens to make it 10x in value.
Just like the Neopets.
Okay, perfect. I like that. I'm actually already doing that. A lot of things we buy, we just put in a box.
So speaking of a lot of things, the video that you just put out, Josh, where you guys found all that clothing at the garage sale, and then you found like the Smathers Belt and all that kind of stuff. Like, first of all, that was an insane garage sale. But second of all, I know you were sharing on kind of Instagram about how people were commenting on it and saying like, oh, but you got to sell all this stuff. And it blows my mind, because I was reading the comments, and at the end of the video, you're like, conservatively, if we sell every item for $10, conservatively, we paid $1.30 per item. If we sell every item for $11 and make $10 profit or whatever, we'll make $1,000. And you're talking about the belt alone, or the belt was, maybe that was a different haul. I don't remember, but
the belt's like $150.
Right.
So
you pay. That's right.
Most items will probably sell for a lot more than 10.
Right. The belt will pay for the $150 that you spent on everything, but you should make
have 111 items left.
Yeah, you should make over $1,000, and it's like you pulled out like some Vineyard Vine stuff, some Ralph Lauren stuff. Haley had a bunch of cashmere stuff.
We had like a bunch of Peter Millar cashmere, and was the barber, like a bunch of Neopet barber insurance. Like, we'll probably end up making like close to $2,000, $2,500. But that person was like, this is clickbait. You didn't make $1,000. You're never going to sell all this stuff. I'm like, this is good stuff. Like, I guess you're right. Yeah, I don't have $1,000 right now, but the right stuff will sell. Like, I'm not just pulling out a bunch of garbage. I mean, like,
if you watch the video,
it might take 5 years to sell this, but we'll sell it. It's like, no, this stuff will sell. Even if we just put in a whatnot auction today, we can make $1,000.
Yeah, even if you watch the video, you can see like the quality of stuff. You know what I mean? And so my question is like, for you with YouTube over the years, I'm really like the worst at wearing my heart on my sleeve. But I know like you like to sometimes share about different things that people say about comments and stuff like that. How much time, like now, where you're at, with you and Haley both doing the business and stuff, like, I know you just is it more like just fun for you to respond to comments like that now? Or is it more like you're doing it because you feel like you need to defend yourself? Or is it just like, yeah, this guy is just annoying me today, so I'm going to respond? Or sometimes you're like, yeah, this guy's annoying me, I'm just not going to respond. You know, when people are like, I'm unsubscribing because of clickbait, you say like, have a nice life, buddy. You know?
Yeah. It's all of those. Sometimes, like, it's funny. When I respond, most of the time when I respond to haters, it's being funny, you know, whatever. Like, that person was like, you'll never sell this stuff. And I bet them in the comment, it's like, I bet you will sell all this stuff within 2 weeks, or enough stuff within 2 weeks to make $1,000. And if we don't, I'll give you $50 via your PayPal. So I'm like, it's just a fun thing. Just a fun.
There's no YouTuber making those kinds of comments either. No, which is what I love.
But then I shared that to Instagram. People are like, oh, just don't respond to the haters, man. Don't let them get to you. I'm like, they're not getting to me. I'm just like, I think this is fun. Like, now I feel challenged to do this, you know? So like, it's fun, like proving people wrong, I guess. And it's not like in a negative way, like, oh, I've got to be right all the time. But in this situation, I'm like, I was very conservative with those numbers. I'm like, I'll prove it. Like, within 2 weeks, I'll do this or else. Like, there's nothing in it there's no downside for you. There's only downside for me. It's just a fun challenge to myself. But yeah, sometimes like things people say either on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, they do like get to me a little bit. I don't know if it ever really goes away. I think the only way it'll go away is if you just stop responding to people. Like, you don't read YouTube comments, you don't answer Instagram DMs. Like, that's the only way to fully get through that, is to just turn it off completely. Because like, I don't know any human that can like sit there and read comments all day, like positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Just like, it's just very emotionally stimulating, good and bad. It's like, sometimes it's a bunch of good stuff. I'm like, you guys are being too nice, I need to like take a break from this. And other times it's like really mean stuff. I'm like I want to defend myself because I still believe that I'm right most of the times. But I'm like, what's the point of this? Like, what can I say to this person to like change their mind? And why do I care what they think, you know? So it's just the constant inner battle.
Joey,
I'm
how
too
do you
nice.
feel?
I'm too
Joey
nice,
is too nice.
But like, I'd read it and just be like, what can I make positive out of this, you know, and just say something nice, you know? That's just how I am.
You're an awesome person.
I try to be.
Yeah, I think
it's funny because like Carrie, American Arbitrage, he's like one of the nicest people I know. Like, he is just so kind. He's like a big teddy bear, and he gets some of the meanest comments on his videos because he does a lot of like TikTok and stuff, and reselling on TikTok and Facebook is just very people really hate it a lot.
It's toxic,
very toxic. And he's just like, he'll respond to stuff sometimes he won't. But I talk to him behind the scenes, he's like, yeah, honestly, it does like bother me a little bit, but it's just, you know, comes with the territory. If you want success, you're gonna get some haters, you know, whether they're warranted or not.
Yeah, I know that like dealing with Dalton, his girlfriend Carly, shout out Styled by Carly, she had shared that like one of her random TikToks, she has an antique booth and she likes to find like glassware and things like that for it. One of her random Thrift With Me TikToks, you know, she shares them all to, you know, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And one of them went viral on Facebook for whatever reason. It picked up and got like over 6 million views. And apparently Facebook Reels pays the most money per view. Mm-hmm. And so she made like over $1,000. I don't know exactly how much it was, but she made like over $1,000 from that one reel. And she had posted on Instagram the other day that she was having like a little bit of a rough mental day because she was getting some rude comments. And I'm like, just remember, you just made $1,000 on one reel, and this person commenting is the reason you're getting this money, because they're letting it play over and over and over again while they're leaving you a mean comment.
They're typing.
Yeah, while they're typing. So I was like, just remember, this person is paying for your, you know, your next thrift trip, or this person's paying for your rent or your groceries or whatever. Yeah. She's like, you right, you know, but you know,
that is a huge upside. Like, yeah, you deal with like people being mean to you, but you also can make really good money with social media on any platform, especially YouTube. So, you know, you got to roll with the punches and weigh the pros and cons. And all the time, for us, at least, the pros outweigh the cons heavily.
Yeah, for sure.
Joey,
Josh,
what's something that you've sold recently that you think would be beneficial for our viewers to learn about?
There's a brand called Abercrombie and Fitch. I would
Gosh. Is that like Shein?
No.
Okay, not as good
Nothing
as Shein.
compares
Okay.
to Shein because that's the biggest bolo in the
Shein or
universe.
Shein? I think it's
Shane.
Shein.
I don't know.
Shane.
Sheen. But Abercrombie and Fitch cargo pants, they sell for a lot of money, no matter if they're new.
I thought you were joking at first, but I actually have sold some Abercrombie and Fitch cargo pants before. They do sell really well.
They sell for like
But
upwards
that's
of
the only
50
thing.
to 100. Yes. It's a pretty good brand. I would look out for it.
Cargo pants specifically. Drew, what's a bolo? And don't say Shein and don't say Abercrombie and Fitch cargo pants.
Let's see. Yeah, I might have to stall for a second so I can pull up my eBay to see like what's something interesting that's sold recently.
Okay, I'll go. So the belt that we were talking about earlier, $150 belt, the brand was Smathers and Branson, Smathers and Branson.
Yeah.
All the belts I saw on eBay were like golf course related or golf or like, I don't know, just like the preppy style. Some of them, like I think on average, they probably sell for like $50 to $75. And a couple, there were like some Masters ones that I saw sold for even more, like up to $200. So Smathers and Branson belts in general can do pretty well depending on brand. And we found a crocodile belt at that one. I don't remember the brand of it, but just the fact that it's crocodile leather, that's really good as well.
I learned about that brand Smathers from I think her name's Jen, Thrift to Travel.
Yeah,
she likes she's really into like selling suspenders and like lightweight stuff like belts and suspenders. And she found a pair of Smathers suspenders at a thrift store for like $1.99, and she sold them for like $200 within an hour of listing them. I was like, whoa, what the heck?
Yeah, so, that's crazy.
That's a really good bolo. I honestly don't have anything crazy. I've been selling a lot of bread and butters. I haven't found anything like random or crazy or out there.
Dude, if you don't know those Cortezes. Talk about those Cortezes right behind you, boy.
Talk about those Jordan 1985 Jordan 1s that you got at the Benz.
I'm pretty sure I've talked about those like 4 times on past podcasts.
Our YouTube audience, people watching this video right now have not heard the story about you finding 1985 original black Chicago colorway.
The perfect colors. The
perfect shit. The once in a lifetime find. What did you do? You found them at the Benz. They were in pretty good shape. What did you do?
So I was at the bin store.
You got 10 seconds.
Oh, that's not enough time. That's not fair. That is not fair.
All right, 30 seconds.
Okay. So long story short, I was at the bins one day and there was only one other guy there with me. Shoes were about to come out and we both saw like 2 pairs of shoes going 2 different ways. So he was like, I'll go this way. And I was like, I'll go this way for the Nikes. And it turns out that there was a pair of 1985 original Chicago Air Jordan 1 highs. Like the OGs, doesn't get any more rare, like original than that. And I was like freaking out. At the time, this was like 3 years ago. So like the highest sold comp was probably like around $1,200, I think, on eBay. And so I listed mine for $900. I took a black sheet in the bins and posted them from the bins. Like I didn't even pay for them yet. And within 60 seconds of listing them, someone offered me $400 or $450. I countered at $750 and he countered back at $500. And I asked the guy that was there, I was like, what do I do, bro? And I was freaking out. At this time, I was like really pushing, making like Profit Monsters YouTube videos. I was like, this is going viral. This is going to change my life. And all I could think about was like making this YouTube video and sharing what I found. And I accepted the offer for $500. Sold them before I had checked out of the bins, paid $1.86 for them, and then recorded a YouTube video. The YouTube video didn't go viral. I didn't get any views, but it was a really cool find. It did
get a lot of hate comments, though, from people telling you were an idiot.
A ton of hate comments. But what's funny is I get more hate comments now than I did back then because people just get suggested the video because of SneakerCon or whatever, Got Soul, and all that kind of stuff. And people are like, bro, those are 10K sneakers. Like, well, realistically, I could probably get like $5,000 for those sneakers in today's market because of based on the condition. If I waited for the right buyer or I brought them to Got Soul or something like that, maybe more. But, if I had to say there was like my biggest reseller regret, it would be trying to sell those for, a viral YouTube video than actually doing more research going, oh, these are actually like I knew they were a holy grail, but I was still such a new full-time reseller that I wasn't, and sneakers were nowhere near as hype as they are now, like with the drops and whatnot and all these stores. Like, they were out there, but it hadn't blown up like to what it is now in the last 3 years, with all these drops and stuff. So I do regret
2 minutes over. That was the biggest regret. I mean, we all make mistakes, and I don't think, like you said, at the time, the highest comp was $1,200. So like, I don't think you missed out on $5,000, because even if you took them home and listed them and sold them for $1,000, that's always going to be what if. Like, what if I would have held on to them for another 5 years? What if you'd still hold on to them now? You can only speculate. So at least you got $500 out.
I wonder what like the person did with those shoes. Like, is he wearing them, or did he sell them for higher?
It's for sure some type of collector or hype seller, because the guy's name was like Hype Beast 977 was his eBay account name. So it was probably a sneaker store. If my guess was correct, I'd say it was a sneaker store that had that Jordan Chicago one like saved, and it was like their grail sneaker to have in their sneaker store or something. And they either eventually sold them, or they're still hanging in a sneaker store, or it was somebody who wanted it for their collection.
I wish you could like trace it back and like go to them if they have a store and like just go in there and be like, I was the one that sold you these Jordans, and you see them or something like that.
Yeah. See, that's the cool thing about like Poshmark is you can go back to any sale you've made through the history of selling, and you can look up the buyer's name from the sale. I could type in 1985 Jordan 1 Chicago's, and it would come up on Poshmark. I could message the buyer and go, hey, I know I sold you these shoes 3 years ago. Just curious what you do with them.
Yeah.
On eBay, you can't
eBay, like, we found this like troll doll at the bins today. It was from 1965. They're called like Damn Trolls or something, or Damn Things. But really old. It was in good shape. And I looked up on eBay, and there are all sorts of sold comps as low as like $12, as high as like $600. And ours was in really good shape. So I was like trying to learn about them. I was like, man, I wish I could go through and like see what sold and see who it sold to, and just like send them a message like, hey, I see you paid $400 for this troll back, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I have this one. Would you be interested in it? Do you know anything about it? How much is it worth? Like, I feel like, and it's not, I don't feel like that would be an invasion of privacy. I feel like that would be a very helpful thing,
Every once in a while on eBay, you will get a message from that like collector or that expert in that field to say like, hey, I've been selling trolls for 40 years, and this is not the one that's worth 600 because the hair follicles go to the left and not to the right, or something like that. And I've gotten that once or twice on like some action figures, like a Star Wars Kenner, Luke Skywalker, and there's like one that he's got a brown cloak on, and there's one where he's got a tan cloak on, and it makes a major difference, in the sale price.
I've seen somebody sell like a modern Grateful Dead shirt. It was like a vintage print, but it was on the modern like screen print liquid blue tag, but they priced it at like $400. I'm like, I don't know a lot about vintage t-shirts, but I know that is not right.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, I'd rather like list it high and have somebody like a professional correct me than like list it low and have it sell instantly and lose out on hundreds of dollars.
There's a well-known reseller in the reseller community. I collect Tower of Terror shirts, and there's a well-known reseller who has a Tower of Terror shirt that's worth like $60, and they have it listed for like $1,300 on eBay. It's the most expensive Tower of Terror shirt on eBay right now.
Have you messaged them about it?
Huh?
Have you messaged them about it? I know who you're talking about.
No, I don't think it's my place to do that, because they may just be using it to draw attention to their store. I don't know. So,
but it could be negative attention though. Like if it's truly like what do you think it's actually worth?
$60 to $70. $60
to $70, and they've got it listed for $1,300. So just like send a message like, hey man, this is the one shirt I need for my collection. Other sold comps on eBay are like $60 to $70. Is there something like special about this shirt that you have it priced up so high? I'd love to buy it to support your business, but obviously I don't want to pay $1,300 for a $70 shirt. Help me out. Let me know. Thanks. I don't think that would be rude.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, but I just was.
It's how bad you want the shirt.
I actually have the shirt already in my collection. I don't need it, but I'm always searching for Tower of Terror shirts because there's like 2 that I'm missing. So, one of them is because I gave it to a friend in a trade, for some vintage, and I was like, it's okay. I don't wear this one anyway. It's way too big for me. And it wasn't one that I was sad to see go. And then the other one's just like the Grail Tower of Terror shirt. That is like the only one online is like $600, and I'm not paying $600 for a t-shirt. So I'll just wait till, one day it pops up.
Drew, Christmas is right around the corner. You could ask Santa and his elves can make you a vintage shirt.
Make me a vintage shirt?
Yeah. Joey, what do you want for Christmas this year?
The only thing I want for Christmas is just being around my family.
If you say world peace, I'm gonna scream.
I just want world peace for sure.
All right, mute his mic. You know what Joey really wants for Christmas is to beat me in pickleball because I smoked him the other day.
Dude, pickleball. Are you guys getting into it now?
Bro, I've been in it. I've been in what's it called? The kitchen. I've been in that kitchen, boy.
You're not supposed to be in the kitchen, Joey.
Nah, if it taps in there first, I could dink it, baby. Let's go.
You really do play. You know all the terms, the kitchen, the dink. Man, that's pretty good.
Joey actually got me playing.
Play with you guys.
Joey's the reason that I started playing.
I'll show you my paddle right now.
Oh, he's got his own paddle.
You still are you still doing disc golf at all, Josh? Or are you more pickleball now?
Not really. The one guy I played disc golf with locally hurt his shoulder a couple months ago, and he hasn't played, and I just don't have anybody else to play with, and I don't really like playing by myself, so I haven't played in a while.
Well, sometime in this next quarter, September, October, November, December, you got to come down to Florida, and we all got to get together and play pickleball.
Yeah.
I mean, we could come up to you, but it's your turn to come down here. Yeah.
We got to meet in Georgia, like 3 hours. And I'm going to Atlanta tomorrow. Do you guys want to come to Atlanta?
If it was Friday, I'd totally do it, bro. Because
we're going to some, this girl I've been helping on YouTube, and her name is Courtney. And she's like, I've just taken her under my wing. I'm like, let me just help you for free. Cause I really like growing YouTube channels. She's the one that was at Flipcon that made I sold my death ball to Harry Tornado for $7,000. And I've just been helping her.
It's like OTP _ ATL Flipper.
Yeah, it's a terrible name. We're trying to come up with her a better name, but it's OTP _ ATL _ resale. Her name is Courtney. But I've been helping her a lot. And she, as a repayment or whatever, she got us tickets to some it's like a charity gala event with like John Legend and all this stuff. So I'm like, yeah, sure. We'll go to that.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
But we're also in a tight spot right now because we're having the windows and sliding glass door replaced at our flip house tomorrow. Well, it's like tomorrow. He's starting tomorrow. It'll probably take him like 3 or 4 days to actually do everything. But we booked the installation of the windows without thinking about the budget. So we don't have enough money in the budget to pay for it. So now we've got to come up with like $2,800 in 4 days to pay him on time, or like I'd pay him out of pocket, but then that would kind of ruin the whole like integrity of the challenge, So we went to the bins yesterday. We went to the bins today. We're going to the bins tomorrow morning before we go to Atlanta, and we'll probably go to the bins Friday afternoon as well, and then sell everything and whatnot at some point over the weekend, and hopefully have all the $2,800 by Saturday whenever he finishes. I don't even know. We did a whatnot auction today, but I don't remember how much we made from it.
So what happens if you don't do it?
He fails his challenge.
Yeah, fail the challenge.
You better hope that Neopet sale comes in on Friday.
That's not even part of the flip. That was just like an individual thing.
Oh dear.
Wednesday whatnot. So we did a show today, and we did $745 gross sales, and that was everything that we got at the bins yesterday. So
that's killer.
I mean, that's pretty good. It was 59 total items. Nothing really sold for a crazy amount of money. It was just a lot of like, $10, $15 sales. That's usually what whatnot is for us. But honestly, I mean, if we can go to the bins and spend $50 on, 50 things and then sell them for $8 a piece or whatever, like just do that every day.
Every day. I mean, that's what Flip the World does, And
yeah.
I have a theory. And I want to share this theory, and you guys can let me know what you think. My theory is that eventually Goodwill is going to start doing what Flip the World and other resellers are doing by selling live from the bins, and they're just going to hire their own employees for either like $10 an hour to just go live and start pulling stuff from the bins that don't get picked through rotations. They'll either do their own Goodwill goodwilllive.com website, or
goodwilllive.com. Wow.
Or something like that.
I agree with you, because Chris has actually been offered a job like that. Like, his Goodwill asked him if he wanted to basically have access to the bins before anybody else and sell stuff and whatnot, and then give Goodwill a cut of it. And he said no. And I was like, I really respect that, man. Like, because obviously you make a lot of money for you. You have access to like all the best stuff before anybody, but it would like ruin it for everybody else. So like, I really like the fact that he turned that down.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that. But yeah, I think that eventually that's probably going to happen, as they've already done Shop Goodwill, and they take the video games and they have pictures of Nirvana and Metallica shirts on pictures on the back wall, and say, if you see these donated, don't put them out on the racks and all that kind of stuff. So eventually they'll do it that way. Or my other theory is that they'll do it commission based, where they'll just find employees and say, you go live for 4 to 6 hours a day, and you just get 3% of everything that sells. And the more money you make for Goodwill, the more money you get paid. And eventually you're going to see like 10 Goodwill employees just lined up against a back wall, holding stuff up, selling live stuff. I mean, why wouldn't they do it? You know what I mean? They've
Maybe
already,
one day. I think the only issue is hiring enough people, because our Goodwills barely have enough people to run the cash register, much less people to run an entire whatnot operation. And it comes to a point, like eventually you'll have like a person that gets, it's why Goodwills don't hire pickers to like pick all the good stuff. Like, why Goodwill still misses stuff, because at some point that employee is going to get so good at identifying valuable items, they're going to realize they can make way more money just being a reseller than working for Goodwill. I mean, even if Goodwill pays you $30 an hour, that is extremely generous. And yet, if you're making $30 an hour as a full-time reseller, that's like very average, like, so I think there's just, it's like, you want somebody good, but not too good. But it's, the more they do it, they're going to get to that point where it just gets too easy and they're going to do it on their own.
Yeah. I mean, I know plenty of Goodwill employees in my area that I see at the Goodwill thrifting, and I'm like, do you work here? And they're like, oh no, I quit. And they're literally got like shoes in their cart or something, because they realize like, bro, I made $97 today by working my butt off for a 10-hour day, or I could buy 2 pairs of shoes from the store and make the same amount of profit. So working for themselves. So yeah, I don't know what the future is. It's just a theory that may or may not happen. I mean, I know they're already beta testing other stuff and other types of things. So like the Buy Blue box I saw in, I don't know what state it is, they actually closed down a Goodwill bin store and they turned it into a Buy Blue box website or whatever. And all they're doing is just throwing stuff in a box.
Wait, is that what they did for yours, Joey? The building is still there. That's just not open.
That's mine. That's what they're doing.
Wow.
So what exactly are they doing? Just putting stuff in boxes and selling it online, like mystery boxes?
Well, you could buy it online. Like, you could almost like a mystery pallet. It stinks for me because I love that store. It was a good store.
Are they selling it in categories like t-shirt box, jeans box, or is it just like box of stuff?
It's categorized.
Wow.
I'd have to look. I haven't looked.
Some videos on YouTube of people like unboxing a Goodwill Blue box, and it's not good.
Well, because the way that they used to do it was we would pick through, obviously throughout the day, and then they just cram it all together, and then they sell it like that. So
wow.
But like they took away like all golf stuff in like Florida. Basically, they took away in our region. They took away all the golf stuff, and then they like sell it to like a wholesaler, and they buy everything. Because I used to buy golf clubs all the time and just sell them for like $100, $100, like nonstop.
It's almost like Goodwill isn't a charity for poor people, and they're a for-profit business that their only goal is to make as much money as possible.
They are.
It's
sad.
If only people in our YouTube and shorts and TikTok comments could understand that.
What did I say? I was talking about, I shared something on Instagram the other day about that, and some reseller, I'm not going to name who, messaged me and was like, if only you knew the things that I knew from working. She's like, I worked at a nonprofit for 9 years, and I heard some backdoor conversations from Goodwill and some things like that about, you know, the CEO of Goodwill makes like $500,000 a year, yet we're the ones that are stealing from the poor, you know, or whatever. And it's like there's so much corruption in the system that they've built, where now they're saying, well, we're not trying to provide quality items at a low price for less fortunate people. We're creating jobs for people that couldn't get jobs elsewhere, you know. And it's like we're building lives that work is like their thing, you know, or whatever. Like, you know, oh, but because some regions are paying $15 an hour starting at Goodwill, you know, they're these great people. But at the same time, it's hard to complain because, you know, if it wasn't for Goodwill, I probably wouldn't have half of my 90-day total because I wouldn't know where I'd get a lot of my inventory from. The flea market in my area is absolute trash now.
I mean, if Goodwill's goal is really to provide jobs for people, they're think of how many jobs they're taking away by shutting down the bins like that. Like all these resellers that depend on the bins for inventory, then you shut down the bins. Like, are you really about jobs? Because there were probably like a couple hundred people that were having a really decent part-time or maybe even a full-time job from this stuff. Yep. And yet you took it away to sell money to like train 4 people on HVAC technology or whatever. So I don't know, Goodwill. We'll see.
As
not resellers' jobs.
I love it's a love-hate relationship with Goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what it is.
Like the lady at Flipcon. Just a love-hate relationship with Goodwill.
Shout out Stephanie.
No, she just has a hate relationship with Goodwill.
She does not like Goodwill at all. Inside joke. If you came to Flipcon, you know what we're talking about.
I think it's always interesting how, like, when you see regional corporate people do talks, it always seems like those people are always so encouraging and positive and like, we're here, you know, and it's like, it's why is it that region or why is it this? Like the interview that Rally Roots did and how, like, you know, they were doing Worn Not Wasted in the South and they're trying to like create this vintage thing and all these different things. Like, and they're saying that Goodwill is for the resellers, but then they're just not. It's like all talk. And I don't get, like, what's the point of trying to be not faceless, like having a face to say like Goodwill loves resellers, but then you walk into a Goodwill and a pair of used Skechers is $49.99 behind the glass counter. Like, not even a reseller would pick those up. So, you know, it's
I wouldn't.
One of the Goodwills.
I'm gonna wait for those bad boys to get thrown in the bins because nobody bought them at the regular store, and then I'll get them for $3.
One of the Goodwills near me has a pair of fake Jordan 11 Concords for $312 behind the glass case, and they think they're authentic. And when you tell an employee like those aren't real, they're like, "Oh, I don't make the prices." You know, they just don't care. You know, the people in the back that do the pricing, some of them are just some power hungry weirdos, man, because you go in there and you find a pair of Nobles for $9.99, and then sitting right next to it is a pair of, you know, Walmart brand flip-flops for $12.99. I'm like, how?
Did you see Dalton the other day? He bought these slippers at like Ross for $9.99, and they were mismatched sizes. Like one was a 10, one was an 11 or something. And so he donated them to his Goodwill, and his Goodwill listed them in their store for $19.99.
Yeah.
He's like, it's literally twice as much as I bought these for new at Ross.
That's wild.
That is wild.
Sad.
But I think it's pretty wild for Dalton to donate shoes like that, because who needs 2 mismatched shoes, Dalton? Goodwill has enough junk. That's like my biggest thing. It's like people don't want to go to the dump. So they're like, let me just take Goodwill all of our garbage and they can sort it out. I'm like, dude, some of this stuff that you're donating is literal garbage.
Yeah, literally. Like shoes that are torn or ripped, like
with holes in the bottom.
At Goodwill yesterday, there was a pair of shoes in the back heel. It was so damaged that it was like 2 spikes of plastic coming out of the back ankle. I'm like, nobody could wear these in their right mind.
But why would they put that out? Like, why would they put that out in the first place, though?
Right, like, but even the person who donated them, why wouldn't you just throw those away? They're like, oh, some less fortunate soul that needs a pair of shoes could totally still wear these. Like, no, throw them away, bro.
No, they couldn't. All right, well, we got to end on a positive note. I don't want to end on the negativity around Goodwill. We talked about Whatnot. We talked about Goodwill. We talked about some bolos. We gave you guys some good educational advice, unlike some podcasts around here, like the Trash to Cash, which never gives you anything of value.
Let's end off each of us with 30 seconds of positivity.
30 seconds of positivity.
Sharing something positive that's happened in our life recently.
Oh, all right, Joey, you go first.
My dad sold his business, and he was kind of getting really tired of it. No, like he has a lunch truck business. He sells food in a lunch truck, and he was sick and tired of it. He wanted to get rid of it, and so he sold it. He bought a new lunch truck, and he's starting a new route. So he is like juiced. Like he's redoing everything in the inside, everything on the outside. Like he's just redoing it, and he's like so excited. So I'm really happy for him. So getting his gears back into place.
Drew.
Well, I could say a lot of things, but I'll say this.
30 seconds.
So because I played pickleball with Joey like a couple weeks ago, it like got me excited because my wife wants to play pickleball and she doesn't ever do sports with me, like play basketball, disc golf, nothing like that. So we started a group with our friends at church and we call it Pickleball Mondays. So every Monday at 6:00 now, me and a bunch of friends from church, with the ladies included, we all get together and we go to this park and we play pickleball. There's a playground. The kids run around on the playground. There's a basketball court. There's all sorts of stuff there, a soccer field. And my wife is playing with me, which is awesome. And, you know, she's like getting into the sport now. She wants to like upgrade her paddle. We just bought a tennis skirt from Destiny, Joey's girlfriend's eBay store, because Danny wants to look cute while she's playing pickleball. So, you know, she's getting all excited about it. And that's really exciting for me because since we've been married, she's never been into playing sports with me. And now we have something that we can do together and we're getting our friends into it. And it's getting outside, getting exercise. And, you know, it's just a lot of fun. So Pickleball Mondays, 6:00. If anybody listening to the podcast wants to come, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, that's so nice. Haley and I are also playing pickleball together. We've been doing it for a couple months now. Haley's been into it since we started, really. She doesn't play as much as I do, but like we play Tuesday nights at our church, and then we play Thursday mornings with our preacher and his wife. We play at like the rec center downtown. So it has been really nice to get out and do something together, because like I have golf and I have disc golf and I have all this like stuff that I do, but Haley's never really, like, she's played with me a couple times, but she's never really gotten into it as much as pickleball. So it's nice. So 30 seconds of positivity. I don't know. I just feel in general, very blessed in life. Like YouTube is good and reselling is good. And we're able to like, obviously have a very nice life for ourselves. We're able to have Kim work for us and pay her very well. And I don't know, just things are very good. Like starting a business is scary. And like when you first start, like 4 or 5 years ago, when I was trying to start a YouTube channel, I was like, oh, I've got 100 subscribers, got 500 subscribers. Like everybody was like, okay, whatever you say. And then it got to 1,000 and then 10,000 and then 100,000. And now people are like starting to see it as like a real thing. I mean, people have seen it as a real thing for a while, but I don't know. It's just cool to like see something that's taken such a long time to come to fruition, actually work out and turn into something beautiful and successful. And, you know, we're able to make videos and have fun with it and help people, entertain people, share knowledge, inspire people to work for themselves. So
it's amazing how many comments you guys get. And I'll end with this. That is just like, you guys inspired me to quit my job, or, you know, I started reselling because of you guys. Like we all have gotten those comments, but I know for you specifically, Josh, because you have a much larger audience, it's like, it's so cool to just see those comments about how many people's lives you're changing just by like telling people, hey, I used to sell insurance and I was miserable, and now I'm reselling plush on Whatnot and I'm happy, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's really cool. I'm really happy for you.
Anything, I don't know. I wouldn't say anything is possible. Like I'm never going to be able to dunk a basketball no matter what happens. So like some things in life are impossible, but most things in life are very doable if you just like have an actual plan in place with like measurable and achievable goals that lead to the ultimate goal, you know? So I don't know. Just, I never would have thought in a million billion years that I would be doing what we're doing now. Same with Haley. Like Haley was super shy in high school. And if you would have told her that she's going to be a YouTuber one day. She's like, that's the craziest thing ever. I would never do that, but never say never. You'd be surprised at what can actually work out if, you work hard and you're good at it and people latch onto it. Okay. This has been episode 34 of the Triple Thrift Podcast. See you guys next year.